So I particularly first of all I have major anxiety issues that I just make this look easy. Um really it's not. I February snow down in the jog park. Shattered both my ankles in the army. Thanks, Army. Um and I slipped on the ice a little bit, you know. I mean, I was walking lucky, and I just slipped a little bit, and I remember I fell and I grabbed the fence to hold me up because my muscle failure, when it goes, it goes. Um, and I was clinging to this rusty old fence to hold myself up, and I just there were the two other ladies there, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I just need a minute." I mean, and they're like, "Do you want us to get you what can we do?" And I'm like, "Well, does the building have a wheelchair?" And they're like, "Well, we could go in and tell the security guard." And I'm like, "Well, thank you very much." But I'm like, they don't have a wheelchair, so I'd end up having to walk in anyway, so fuck it. And they're like, "Oh, you're feeling better?" I'm like, "No, I'm in excruciating pain. I've got to walk back. No matter what I do, either way, I've got to walk back." So you do what any good soldier does, and you pull your shit together and you walk back. And the other one, the whiskey's owner, she's like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's easy for everyone to forget everything I've gone through with the whole this thing because I make it look so easy." And she's like, "I think it's the personality." I'm like, yes, it's the personality. I've always had a personality bigger than life. I've always been very emotional, very driven, very committed, very stubborn, very me. I've always been very me. And yeah, fucking ankle hurt like a bitch. Especially considering how it was just like the week before, because I re-injured. When you re-injure something, then it's sensitive to that for a while, right? Well, the week before, 2 weeks before, whatever, I had rocked up, right? And there was one of the staff members here, and I get along with most of the staff very, very well because, I mean, I'm a shut in. They're the only people I really interact with, and they're really nice. The building is really quite lucky to have such a gathering of really good people. It's just that even really good people have lost their way. Because just being pretty good, it's not good enough. It's really not. Not anymore. Your actions speak louder than words. And if you are ashamed of your actions, then you deserve what you get. I am doing nothing more than than being my absolute true best self. I try to be, struggle to be, in using my larger than life personality to scream out injustice. Because I'm sorry, law's a waste of time. Oh, what are they going to do? Court mandates, whatever. Guess what? Public relations is so much more damning and damaging than any civil suit ever would be. And the funny thing is that there's this natural karmic nature about it, right? Because that's why everybody's like, "Oh, don't try this in the public, try this in the courtroom." No, fucking A, man, try it in the public. Because I've got nothing to be ashamed of. Are you ashamed of your actions? You should be. Because America would be ashamed of you. Because we get fat one bite at a time. But you know what? Nobody forced that hamburger in our hand. It's all about free will. And that is why David Harris, Marina Towers, and Orisman, not only automotive, because I expect them to not only buy my mold-ridden car off me at top dollar, please feel free to generously overpay for my car as much as you feel my hardship has been worth, because I am outright giving you the opportunity to buy me off. And guess what? America gets to vote up or down if it was enough. I want them to donate a GM vehicle of my choosing, because guess what? Next step, I would actually like to partner with GM because, remember, all of this stuff is leverage, right? All I'm doing is I'm setting the mines in the field I have laid. You want to play? So, I expect Horseman Automotive to generously overpay to purchase back my vehicle after they caused me both. I actually went into VA mental health. I had never actually checked in before, right? And I got upstairs and the VA has been amazing. The VSO the Veteran Service Organizations and shit, well, thank God we're finally ushering in things like Team Rubicon and even Team Red, White, and Blue. Thank God these things are coming in. IAVA had a good idea, but you fucked it up as soon as you started listening to an officer. Sorry, you get more wrapped around the axle than policy and orders and shit, then about actual change, you're bound to fuck up. Anyway. Yeah, I really don't got much use for, air-conditioned policymakers. Now get out of my way. Anyway, IVA got shit wrapped around the axle, but organizations like Team Rubicon, if I had less anxiety, I am, at least Team Rubicon's trying. The suicide training thing, oh my God, it was much more of a risk than it was a benefit. And dear Lord, I know they don't know any better. And for most people, it would probably be okay, but you're applying it to veterans. And for that suicide course to be applied to veterans, you are fucking endangering the people that are trying to help. And you're setting everyone up for failure. So in good conscience, although I have utmost respect for Team Rubicon and admiration because they're trying. They just didn't know any better. But I'm telling you that to send fellow veterans in after other veterans with such little training is like when in my last month at the United Nations Command in Korea. The last month I was there, we lost 28 guys, right? One of the dudes went nuts. And, because the DMZ is a very awkwardly charged and emotionally complicated place. As it should be. There's only one like it in the world, and it's a very deadly quiet. Anyway, one of the dudes went nuts, fucking threw a grenade in the guard tower, went in with automatics, heavies, and fucking liquidated everybody while they were sleeping. A friend of mine was the one that led the team, and just hearing him tell me about flesh as it still dripped off of the ceiling. Wow. One of our own. I'm sorry, and please explain to me why the almighty dollar and the oh-so-glorious bullet is more effective than hearts and minds? Please explain that to me, because I think you've been barking up a wrong tree for a really fucking long time, and the sad thing is, it made economic sense for you to do so. Same as it made economic sense in Iraq. For the contracting company I was working for to allow our own to die. Our own. And there were fucking vets working for them too. How many vets took that blood money and looked the other way? Traitor. Blue Falcon. IW Blue Falcon. I was dating an arms dealer at the time, right? And he begged me not to do what I was doing. Because I was turning evidence. I was walking the line. And he begged me. It's like, I've seen people killed for less out here. Please don't do this. How can I live with myself if I don't? I knew what was happening. And it fucking came. It came out on the front page of the Army Times. Global Linguistic Solutions is allowing American soldiers to die. Like, no fucking shit. Because it was cost effective. I literally, oh my god, fucking like no joke, right? I was an assistant site manager, which is how I ended up on the money runs every other month or whatever, right? I remember one of the linguists we were in processing was, I was a terp wrangler, officially, and because that's the silly thing, you guys don't understand, and I'm not ever saying I did anything or I haven't done anything, I'm simply enlightening to the fact that, you know what, all this movie shit that we all get all wrapped around and stuff, like, oh my god, the CIA agent, blah, blah, blah. I liked the comedy one with the Fulcrum dude. I liked that one because, you know what, we're also human. We also have lives. We also, if we're lucky, sleep at night. If we're lucky, we find love. If we're lucky. If we're really unlucky, we kill ourselves. You're welcome for my service. Anyway, we weren't killing them. We were allowing them to die by refusing to do what we agreed, what we told the Army we were going to do. And the funny thing is, even though while we're on the front page of Army Times for our travesties, and boy, they didn't get the half of it, the Acorn, I can't remember, I can't remember something, and he was a nice guy, because I got along with the dude, too. You see, because if you're in any respect squared away, and not a total fucking asshole, I tend to get along, right? I can't remember Acorn, something like that, but he was the military liaison for our project, and he was a good guy. And even though it was begrudgingly, he was forced to give us green lights and gold stars across the board, despite what we were doing, because we were doing a better job than the guys that came before us. And they needed somebody. They needed somebody. And the guys that were before us did such a fucking bad job. It made us look good. But you see, the contracting game, or at least that one was, you set up a patsy to head up a company. In this case, DynCorp was actually running the operation, and GLS was the patsy. Hi, DynCorp! DynCorp was running the fucking shit show, right? But they set Spider, I don't remember, fucking whatever, General Spider McGee, whatever the fuck his name is. They set him up as a patsy because they took the same contract that had been in Iraq since the beginning. They even kept the same in-theater personnel. They just built another company, gave it another name, and passed the contract on. Labels, labels, labels. I don't care what you call shit, it still stinks. But hey, we got a gold star. Yeah, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. Mm. And I hope, with compassion in my heart, that that was what D.S. LeBouz meant to express when he made me the donut eater from Platoon. Fuck you. I was on 2 shattered ankles. It's not my fault. I was on 2 shattered ankles and I kept going. I was doing my best. I was already giving all I had. And for you to drop 197 people till Code can get it right? Fuck you. I gave my all. And if you had stood by me, you being Army in general, because whoa, more fucked up than LeBouz, even in that training facility. Talk about a first sergeant, a female fucked up sergeant that got, shuffled and shit because she got caught fucking a private. Anyway, I don't know, that's the rumor, and hey, rumen, right? Anyway, I know she was gone and I know she fucked me over because she would call up and cancel my therapy appointments. Because the doctor in the schedule told me she did. Not once, but multiple times. Traitor. Traitor. You knew it was wrong when you did it. Traitor. Anyway, and I guess in some really fucked up roundabout sort of way, that gets around to me rocking up in Sally's face, right? Because what I've decided Marina Tower's act of contrition needs to be is that they are going to donate the first location for Purple Combat Boots. Purple Combat Boots is to be a 24/7 safe house for veterans that are having a hard time. By that I mean they are at risk of suicide, and we just need to not be alone. If you need to just not be alone, fucking rock up. And you know what? If it's reasonable hours, come on and hang out. But remember, it is a residence, because I do plan on finding some other veteran to live here 24/7, preferably disabled veteran, compassionate, preferably female, not out of any gender or anything, but because war is predominantly masculine. It is predominantly men. If we arrogantly, ignorantly choose to fail to factor that, then that is our problem. War, everything about us, we have genetically evolved, men and women, but you see, that's the interesting thing, is because they're, first off, gotta touch on monogamy here for a minute, yo. Like religion, to each their own. Like religion, like sex, like love, like whatever, to each their own. Okay? As long as whatever is empowering you to be a better person. And you know what that means. But war is an aggressive thing. Women are the givers of life. Men are traditionally the takers of life. I'm just saying, don't piss a woman off, man. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, so guys roughhouse, they go to war, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, we've had an entire race of humanity to figure that shit out, and to figure it out it doesn't work. Sorry, sit down, you have a timeout. Oh my god, my master's degree, I remember I had quite a controversial thesis, applying psychology to diplomacy and negotiations, and even offering, very rushed, because I published it under 3 months, right? Because I was in love with a soldier and I had to move back to the States. Of course, I had a magazine cover, most eligible bachelor in love with me, but I was in love with a soldier and I had to move back to the States. So I published my thesis in under 3 months, and so it's not as polished as I would like. One second. Oh, I like seeing me. It's not as polished as I would like, but it's damn fucking solid. And I chose a very difficult board um, of some Who's Who folks. And cracked voice and sweaty palms, I defended it. You know, and I remember taking the biggest compliment out of the question, how did you even think of this? And then in my I don't want to say unrefined, I don't want to say crass, but in my very directly honest way, considering I was talking to world leaders, how did you not? How did you not think of applying psychology to politics? How did you not think of applying Maslow's hierarchy of need to negotiations? How have you not thought of all this shit? And they still passed me. They all signed off on my thesis. And I moved back to America to be in love with a soldier and to enlist in psychological operations because I believed them. It was my naivete to think that the Army would do anything more than teach me my limits and my abilities. I had expectations, and so it was my fault the Army let me down. I hope they learn from their mistake.